Yo boys, back with another video. Today's a special kind of video because we faced Palumor and oh, we did indeed get a nice fresh old W. So 2-0 against Palumor, obviously. He was playing the most broken comp in game versus Rogue Mage, which is double Rogue, but we ended up destroying him anyway because he's obviously awful. So the goal here in this situation is have my mage 1v1 the shaman for a little bit. Now, sometimes the Outlaw Rogue would just open, and a lot of the other times he'll just sit in stealth. Usually the Owl Rogues don't want to sit in stealth and wait when they can do unhealable dam in like 2 seconds. So I wait in stealth for a second. What we want to do is this shaman had a really bad thing with like running around the map, not knowing what to do. He needs to get in combat ASAP, so it doesn't happen to where I can sap him. If we can get a sap setup, it is super good for us. The worst thing in their case scenario. So here the rogue opens. He ends up pre-cloaking, but it's really bad because I didn't open on it. So he pre-cloaks right now. So I actually know. I think he just legit cloaked the Frost Nova. That's all he did. So he didn't pre-cloak. He just legit cloaked for no reason. We end up getting a huge damage. He almost dies right there. We end up resapping the Shaman. The Rogue comes out and he's not even LOS, and he instantly gets Power Blast to the forehead. That was crazy. So that was the freest win. I don't know what they were doing, but we love facing Outlaw Rogues that or don't know really how to play against Rogue Mage. So in this situation, these guys ended up beating us once. We beat them like 3 times. Here, this guy just needed to click Vaniante, and he probably would have been fine. But I guess he wanted to hold it, and he's also playing Undead, which is you don't want to be playing Undead. It's just you can't. I mean, in Dragonflight, you'll have the Relentless Trinket, so every race will be viable, where you won't have to pick one race. I end up trinketing. His cheat death actually saves him. I thought he was gonna trinket because the rogue didn't vanish, and he ended up just not clicking vanish. I guess he thought the druid was gonna trade trinket. I don't know. Another rogue that just didn't know how to play against a roguey mage. So here in this situation, he's gonna try to double DB, sheep the shaman, and then I'm gonna kidney. The only problem with him running relentless is it's a warrior, so it's not like he's going to be CC'd for that long. Like legit 3 seconds is not a long time. So here he needs to be running trinket for fear. So in this situation, but then again, we got everything we wanted. So we got swap, we got wall, and we basically had everything in the opener other than the shaman's trinket. We end up getting shaman's trinket from I don't even know. I don't even remember. I think he legit trinketed on accident, and that's why we won. Because as you can see, this warrior ends up doing unhealable damage. It's just not healable. Like it gets purged and he almost instantly dies. So he instantly gets 100 to 20. He ends up getting seed procced. I blind here because he randomly trinkets, which is beautiful. It was the only way that he was surviving right there. Because his vital was AFK because he wasn't already in combat. I end up shadowy dueling him, so I pre-shadowy duel. My guy survives, thankfully. So I needed to save disarm there, and I needed to save it for ice block. So that was a bad disarm by me, but I thought he would have just tried to kill me because I didn't have anything. As you can see, I have 0 cool EDs. In this situation, we can cheap shot the shaman and then Kinney off DR. So we're waiting. I'm trying to sap the shaman because we need Bust to really win the game here. Thankfully, my guy gets the good old fashioned shift and 20 seconds. So theoretically, we would need to wait 20 seconds. We actually ended up just going, and we actually ended up not killing him right here. But thankfully, my guy gets bust the last second. It kind of sucks that he can have wall every minute because of the conduit. I don't know if it's permanent or if he has to do something. But that a minute wall is just really toxic. Especially as a rogue, going through 1 minute wall is just not fun. So thankfully, we end up getting the dub here. This is a Palomar game, which was beautiful. This comp should never lose the Rogue Mage. I don't care what any of the Palomar fanboys say. You should never lose to a Rogue Mage comp when you're playing double Rogue. It's just way too broken where you just can full send it as one Rogue and then the other Rogue can kill you. The fact that they use Cloak for no reason was great. I love Rogues that don't know how to use Cloak. It was great. So anytime we can get Cloak how we did, it's great. Obviously, Palomar is not really that good at 2, so he actually ends up getting a really good step kidney on me here. So this is where they get my trinket because he cloaks, which is really bad. So that cloak, the reason that's bad is because he needs it to kill me. Now my guy ends up DBing the rogue and then he gets him out. So now he gets the rogue out. So in this situation, all they need to do, this guy cloaks air, which is why we won the game. So we got both cloaks. So this rogue used cloak for no reason, and then the other rogue used cloak on his burst when he didn't really need to. The other rogue wasn't. I would say the other rogue could have trinketed and then kinned me, and then he could have saved his cloak. I don't know why he's relying on his teammate to kill me. I'm a god among men. I don't lose. So we're 2-0 against Palumor. End up getting good old fashioned up. All we love. So now, and also this is my video, so he can't copyright strike me like he did the other video. And we end up taking him out like usual. By the way, this is our first Q session since a long, very long time. We end up getting a good old fashioned follow. So if you guys didn't know, I stream on Twitch. Make sure you check me out. It'll be linked in the description. Here, what we want to do is kind of a sketchy opener. I didn't like how I opened here, but I was kind of like looking at Chatty Hante and didn't really give. I didn't care. So I end up cheap shotting. I'm trying to cheap shot. I ended up almost dying to the DH here. I end up curing foul because I'm legit dying to the DH. I'm surprised we didn't get trinket. I think we actually, yeah, we do get trinket. I didn't think we would get it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he would have just hold. I mean, he only had like 2 seconds left. But yeah, we end up getting trinket and nether. Really good. He ends up sheeping him on the drop, so he can't get dispelled yet. I almost get a re, but obviously I get slowed here. My guy re-sheeps him. At this situation, he can DB sheep the shaman, and then and then we can open. So I cheap shot. I instantly trinket this because if I don't and he pre-evasions, then it's gonna be really bad. He ends up trinket swapping, and we get double trinket. I still have blind. So the main goal is we're gonna wait off DR and then blind the chamois and then continue the DH and win the game. At that point, we can either sheep off the blind or sap, and it's basically over. So we're waiting. He pre-evasion, so I need a wait. So I need my guy to block here. He ends up DBing. Thankfully, he didn't DB the shaman. Because at this point, he just needs to block. We need, especially since they already pre-walled. This guy ends up trying to eye me out instead of like using his boomerang or whatever. I end up dropping down. I tried to sap him here. I figured I could sap him because it was a full block, so I didn't think he was even in combat. But I guess he was attacking the block after that puts you in combat. I get a 4-set proc finally after 2 decades, and we end up taking him out. Another fresh old Wante. The next game here was Outlaw Rogue. I don't know if it was the same Outlaw Rogue. I don't even remember. But we end up getting a fresh old W. Now, versus Outlaw Rogues, they can be really weird on their cooldowns. As an Outlaw Rogue, you get your cooldowns really fast. Now, I end up like AFKing at the start, as you can see there. But Relentless is not fun to play against, especially as human. Humans is not fun. So my guy needs a ring around the bomb. Now, I guess he didn't really care because he needs it for when I cheap shot the druid. So in this situation, it's not bad. We end up swapping the druid here. He blinds me. Now, the only reason I would trinket blind is if he was at 30%. Now, if the druid was at 30%, I could trinket blind and then cheap shot off my secondary cheap shot or whatever and keep going and try to, grab trinket. But at the same time, if you don't kill him and you've already trinketed, you're legit gonna die. I end up almost dying here to, minimal damage. Like, he's using his burst. This is off-brand burst. So I end up getting almost 100, and if he had a little bit more damage, I would have died. So thankfully, I held trinket, and I still hold it. We end up getting a cheap shot here. We end up getting a really good ring. He ends up trinketing, I'm pretty sure, and then we just blind him. So the druid trinkets, and we end up, I think we trinket, no we don't. So it breaks, and then we blind off that third sheep, and we end up gaming. He tries to step me like I usually do, so I knew he was going to do it, so I step him instantly before he can step me. Because what his goal is, he wants to drop me down, and right before I drop down, he wants to step me, so I drop down and he goes up. And obviously I know how to play against that. You either wait there for a second, or you can step to them, and they'll just step your step, which means they'll just be in the same exact area. So this is just this is a preview for the next video here. I played with the Windwalker. We really insane. Windwalker damage is really just great. It is beautiful. My guy's 1800 gear, and we almost won every aim instantly because he was just doing unhealable dam. So here, I'm starting to do unhealable dam. We end up not getting trinket because my guy sits a full trap, which is kind of questionable. But we end up getting turtle. We end up getting guardian as well. My guy, as you can see. So in this comp, your goal is basically to do your little opener, and this guy tries to boom, and look at that 100 HP. This guy's doing so much damage, he doesn't even realize. I end up doing a little bit of damage as well, get the echo going, and he's just dead. So before the healer even realizes it, he just gets taken out. And for the last game of the video here, another Hunter Priest that we end up just CCing to where it was just not possible for them to win. So if you play this comp right, so if this guy had full gear, it would be a really hard comp to beat. Now, H-Pals would have a really good chance because H-Pals can pop stuns and all that good stuff. We end up getting a really good sap here. My guy had a really good habit of stunning, which is bad but good sometimes because he doesn't get the extra damage that I get. I end up smoke bombing, he ends up leaping it, which kind of sucks because the sap was almost dead. I end up blinding here. This is where he didn't need a trinket. Now, maybe he did, but I don't think he did. He had turtle still, so the main thing is holding cooldown. So at this point, I can basically just kidney the priest off DR, cheap shot the hunter, and then just full send the hunter, and he doesn't have turtle anymore, and it's basically just over. I mean, my guy's still doing a little bit of damn to him. We end up kicking him, and then we're gonna kidney off, and then now we're just gonna cheap shot. We actually cloak his trap, so we knew he was gonna trap. We end up just killing him here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. See you guys tomorrow.